To rebut, quite frankly, other than to say that, I think all of us have worked very hard in the past and have struggled to make ends meet. So we all know firsthand what that means. My first child was born, I was unemployed, I had to go on public assistance, so I have experience with that firsthand as well. And let me tell you something. When I had to do that, I'll be honest in telling you, I was embarrassed. And I was ashamed. I made two promises to myself. Number one, I would never let it happen again. I would work absolutely as hard as I could to make it never happen again. But more importantly, I would never forget what it was like to have to turn to the government for help. And that's what's made me, one of the things that has made me a lifelong Democrat. I will always be a Democrat because of that. Eric?
Not a rebut, because I think there is some agreement. The difference is whether one's been there and walked that talk for a long time. I have. But also, we absolutely need to be talking about the values we're putting at stake in our society. Do we care about our neighbors? That's huge. And part of that is what I see Social Security as being. I love the benefits. 152,000 people get $2.3 billion a year in this district in total. But I also love it because it speaks to the idea of security and dignity of people. And that's why we ought to be fighting for high minimum wage, higher, jobs for anyone who is willing and able to work, massive investment in infrastructure with good agreements for labor so that we hire local labor and especially people in the cities. These are things we have to fight for. They connect. It's not a matter of being favorable to one. You really have to work on them all.
Yeah, I would just like to add, before in my opening remarks, I mentioned, when I was pregnant with my son, I didn't have health care or sick time. So I had to quit. I had to go on Medicaid, actually, for health insurance. And I had to quit my job a few days before he was born and go on food stamps and WIC to keep us healthy. And, one of the reasons I'm running for Congress was because of this experience in my life. It's not a unique experience, the one that I had, but it's a perspective that's not represented in Congress. How many members of Congress can actually say they've had to use the programs that they're voting on? How many of them can say they've been unemployed or underemployed? That's why I'm running, because I want to represent people who have not had a voice at the table before.
Thank you.